This is Jackie J. I've been separated from my colleague Frank Hemingway. There's gunfire on the other side of the camp. Frank. Frank, can you hear me? We're live. We're live on air.
Jackie, there's been an incursion. There's hundreds of them. They're everywhere. They came from every side.
Frank, what are they? What do they look like? Frank? Jesus.
One week into the apocalypse and the exclusion zone has been overrun, Alexander's gone missing, and I'm eating popcorn for breakfast. Suffice to say, things are bad. This felt like a good time to get out of town, but in order to do that, I still needed to find a wrench. I never got a chance to actually look through the fire station, but there was too much fog to risk that far of a walk, so I settled on the garages up the road. And fortunately, to my surprise, that little horde had moved on, so the area was clear. My search didn't take very long, and in a nice turn of events, I found not only a wrench, but also fishing gear and a generator. And finally, it was time to level mechanics. The fog even started clearing as I was packing my gear, giving me a nice clear path to the parking lot, which was, again, surprisingly empty. So I decided not to tempt fate by starting the engine and just worked on it where it was. It took a while, but I eventually got to level 2 and could officially hotwire vehicles. And since I wouldn't be needing this car, I decided to use it to get a better idea of how many zombies I was dealing with. And just to be safe, I figured I should probably bring the shotgun. So I loaded it up, got comfortable with it, and went for a drive. I almost immediately found a neighborhood I had completely forgotten about and had a brain blast. If I could get enough of the zombies either killed off or away from here, maybe I could defend the area long enough to build walls across the road to fill the gaps. Without much time to think about it, it seemed like a good plan. So I just ran a bunch over until it seemed like I'd gotten the majority of the neighborhood's attention. Then I started leading them out towards a dirt road on the edge of town when this goofball showed up, and I guess wanted to help? I don't know what the you're doing. I got all but 3 of the zombies back on me and kept driving out of town. Last I saw them, they were fighting some of the crawlers I left behind, so I think they're okay. And then I began the long job of herding the undead to the outskirts of town. Once I got the group to the end of the road, I decided the car might be useful for killing zombies at the very least, so I was going to try to drive it back to the house, and then... Let's be real, this car... There was barely time to think. I ran out of gas. In a split second, Elitas was in deep shit. Use the trees for cover, stay quiet, find shelter. These were the only 3 things on my mind when I opened that door. Didn't run for long, just far enough to get away from the road before I crouched and moved to step 2. Stay quiet. Normally this situation wouldn't be all that bad, except it was getting late and Elitas was not doing good. Hungry, thirsty, desperately tired, terrified, over-encumbered, the list goes on, and not to mention Elitas is suddenly alone in the forest at night in an apocalypse. And I thought things were bad this morning. When hiding in the trees was no longer an option, I moved on to step 3, find shelter, and tried to stay quiet. No shotgun. But there was no avoiding a fight. With those 3 out of the way, I could use the houses for cover and try to lose whatever was left, and hopefully one of these houses would be safe enough to sleep in. My plan didn't totally pan out, but all I needed was to get into a room without being seen. With a little quick thinking and a final burst of energy, I made a quick lap around the house. I'm gonna die out here. And hauled ass upstairs, and despite not being able to see a damn thing, I stumbled my way into an office and closed the door. Tonight, my bed would be a chair. In the morning, I checked the hall quick, and then went across it to get some water, and promptly shit my pants. Fuck! Holy goddamn, that was... What in the shit? Not gonna lie, I don't know how the fuck I got away from that. After they were taken care of, I got a chance to dig around the house a little bit, and I found some useful stuff, but I didn't take much. I made a note to come back, but for now I still had some scouting to do. And if this truck had gas, I'd be free to do just that. Good, this bad boy's damn near full. But, much like a dog, I was again quickly distracted. And once again, stared death in the face. I don't know if I got it. Think I did? This fuel tank would absolutely come in handy, but to be honest, I still don't know if it was worth it in this moment. But, worth it or not, I was now in possession of a fuel tank and on my way home. My plan when I got back was to unload everything, get the logging truck running, and take it and the fuel tank down south to a gas station a little ways out of town, where I could fill them both with fuel. But first I had to take care of the zombies that heard the truck when I drove by. Somehow, after everything, this was when they got me. No! No! Rude! Oh! Thank It's just a scratch. I wasn't out of the woods yet by any means. There's still a small chance I get the infection because of that. but it's not a bite. There's also still zombies chasing me, so, you know. They were relentless, though. So, took a risk and made some noise. And then I went straight back to my house because I was scared a horde was coming. Back in my dungeon, I started cleaning up my wound when all of a sudden the radio crackled to life again.
Jackie J. LBMW. I'm still here. I need you to know something. National networks are reporting that it's spread. They're saying Somalia in Africa. They're saying Norfolk, England. I know it isn't possible, but it's true. Go listen to them now. Go listen to someone else. This place is a goddamn wasteland. Keep safe. Keep safe, Kentucky.
The next morning, I finished packing what useful things I had gathered into the logging truck. It was time to leave. I wasn't done with Rosewood just yet. There was still a lot here I wanted. However, I needed somewhere safe to go that wasn't in the middle of a little town with a rapidly growing zombie population. I had a few stops to make before completely ditching town, though. For one, I had to fill the trailer. Second, I still needed to stop at the fire station. After all the important items were accounted for and the trailer was hooked up, I set off. The gas station was first, and I'd hit the fire station on the way out of town. I thought I'd be able to either kill off the few near the pumps or at least lead them away. But as I kept moving, I kept finding more, and vice versa, until I had a pretty good crowd following me around. So, it was finally time to go on the offensive and put my shotgun to good use. Situations like this are where a suppressor would really come in handy. Despite all that gunfire, zombies are stupid. Suppressors don't make a gun silent, but taking care of groups like this would be a lot easier with one. And I wouldn't have to train a massive horde of zombies all around for 8 hours in order to clear an area. After a very full day of zombie killing, I filled up the fuel trailer and the truck, and figured it'd be best to camp out here rather than push my luck. The janitor's closet may not have been the most comfortable place to sleep, but at least I had a room to hide in. I spent the early hours of day 10 tearing apart the gas station. I had no intention of leaving behind any of this non-perishable, lightweight food. And I didn't. I didn't waste any time moving on either. The closet worked as far as safety, but I slept like total shit on the concrete floor. There were, of course, some zombies to take care of when I got to the fire station, and by the time I was done, Elitas was already pretty exhausted, so I took advantage of the giant brick safe house I just cleared and spent the rest of the day recovering. This was finally it. The day we leave Rosewood behind. There was a lot to gather from the fire station first, though, so I immediately got to work grabbing food, tools, medical supplies, a treadmill, and anything else that seemed useful. When that was all done, I realized I never grabbed a generator from anywhere, so I headed back to one of the garages I knew had one and waved the final goodbye to my house as I drove by.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye.
I had plenty of space in the back of the truck, so I grabbed both of the generators and decided it might be a good idea to stop at the grocery store before I left town, where I started to clear the area and then very quickly realized I left my ammo in the truck. You are an idiot! I decided I'd come back another day, a little more prepared. So I was finally on the road. I didn't have any particular destination in mind, I was just happy to be out in the country. There was a couple warehouses I stopped at that had some tools worth taking, and shortly after, a boarded up house drew my attention. I helped the former residents find the light, and made myself comfortable in a different home. And I tried to think of a plan. I made it out of Rosewood, and I have a good amount of supplies, but barely enough to get me through a couple of months, let alone a year. And Elitas is still underweight, unfit, feeble, and just generally lacking skills. I have no real safe house to fall back to if Elitas gets injured. I barely have enough ammo to clear one more building, and meanwhile, the zombie population is doing nothing but growing. Sure, I made it out of Rosewood, but that was just step one.